9 experienced Soviet hikers set out into the treacherous Ural Mountains in 1959. None came back alive, their tent mysteriously cut open from the inside. This was not a simple accident. Something profoundly disturbing unfolded on the icy slopes of Kholat Syakhl. The initial discovery would shock investigators and ignite one of history's most enduring mysteries. Led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, the group consisted of 8 other students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute. They were all highly skilled skiers and mountaineers, well prepared for a challenging winter expedition. Their journey began in late January 1959, aiming for Mount Atorton in the Sverdlovsk Oblast of the northern Urals. This rugged, unforgiving terrain was their passion. The Soviet Union of the late 1950s was a land of vast, untamed wilderness, where such expeditions were common. Dyatlov's group followed an approved route, expecting to return to the village of Vizhay by February 12. When no contact was made, a search party was eventually dispatched, battling fierce blizzards and extreme cold. The remote landscape itself was a formidable opponent. On February 26, searchers located the group's tent pitched precariously on the eastern slope of Kholat Syakhl, or Dead Mountain. The scene was immediately unsettling. The tent had been slashed open from within, revealing personal belongings, winter clothes, and food left behind. It appeared the hikers had fled in a sudden, desperate hurry into the unforgiving night. Following faint tracks in the deep snow, searchers descended towards a nearby forest. There, under a cedar tree, they found the first 2 bodies, Yuri Doroshenko and Yuri Krivonishenko, both barefoot and clad only in underwear. Nearby, remnants of a small fire suggested a desperate attempt at warmth. This stark image painted a grim picture of their final moments. 3 more bodies, including Dyatlov himself, were discovered between the cedar tree and the abandoned tent, positioned as if trying to return. Months later, as the snow melted, the remaining 4 hikers were found in a ravine, some with baffling injuries. These included severe crushing chest trauma and skull fractures, yet with no external wounds consistent with such force. The clothing of some victims also showed traces of radiation. The official Soviet investigation concluded that the hikers died from a compelling natural force. The case was abruptly closed, and records were classified, fueling decades of speculation. This vague pronouncement offered little explanation for the precise injuries, the tent slashed from the inside, or the strange decision to abandon essential winter gear in sub-zero temperatures. It raised more questions than answers. The paradoxical nature of the scene defied simple explanation. Why would experienced mountaineers, panicked, cut their way out of a tent and flee into extreme cold, only to die of hypothermia and unexplained trauma? No evidence of an avalanche or human attack was ever found. The narrative hinted at an unseen threat, something terrifying enough to force such desperate actions, yet leaving no definitive trace. The Dyatlov Pass incident rapidly became a global enigma, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and theories. For decades, the silence from Soviet authorities only intensified public fascination and fueled wild speculation. The partial declassification of files in recent years, while providing more detail, has ultimately failed to yield a universally accepted explanation. The case remains a chilling cautionary tale. The vast, silent expanse of the Ural Mountains holds its secrets tightly. What compelled 9 experienced hikers to flee their shelter into a lethal blizzard, leaving behind a scene of terror and unexplained injury? Despite exhaustive analyses, the truth of what transpired on Kholat Syakhl that terrible night remains shrouded in a fog of ambiguity, an unsettling whisper from the frozen past.